All right, here we go. Writing with positive exponents. So we have a lot of things written down in radical form, and we're going to convert them to their exponential form. And so just kind of a couple things of note right before we get going. If I have the square root of 3, you can type that into your calculator with the square root button. Another way to write this in then, though, is going to be 3 to the 1/2 power. So with that little caret to give you up to the exponent, and then typing in 1 divided by 2. That would give you the exact same result. The other thing of note that we want to talk about is that when you're adding radical terms, and this will come up more in the second set, but we'll want to talk about it now. We're adding radical terms. There's a couple conditions to see if they really are, in fact, like terms. So really all we're doing is saying, hey, when are they like terms? If you're adding like terms, that's when you're going to combine things. If they're not like terms, we can't, in fact, combine them. So the rules to check through are going to be, one, do they have the same index, which means that's the root number, like 3 right here is the index. 6 over here is the index. It's which root it is that you're dealing with. So they have to have the same index. That's part 1. 2, they have to have the same radicand, which is the number inside. So if I can use this over here, 2a is your radicand. So these two numbers right here do have the same radicand. If you were adding them, that condition will be met. However, they do not have the same index. So if you were adding them, you could not, in fact, do that because they have to have the same index and the same radicand, the number inside the radical. So 2 root 3 as an example, minus 7 root 3, same index. The index in both of these is 2. So this is a square root. If it's not shown, it's safe to assume that it's a square root. That's the notation for it. And so 2 minus 7, I can think of this as 2x minus 7x. That would give me negative 5x. Now my x here just happens to be the square root of 3. So this is going to be negative 5 root 3. And that works. Now, however, if I had 2 root 3 squared minus 7 root 3, they have the same index, but they do not have the same radicand, so this does not work. All right, that all being said, let's jump on to A, B, and C. So here on A, we've got negative 2, and that's outside of our exponents, or outside of our radicals. That's still staying the same, negative 2. Now y, the number on top, the numerator, is going to be what power is that number 2. So it's y to the third. The divisor, the denominator, is what the index is. So y, negative 2 times y to the 3/4. There's number 1. Number 2, we're first going to write this as x to the, again, x is to the third power, and it's a square root. So x to the 3/2. Let me make the x a little bit bigger. X to the 3/2 times x squared divided by 5. Now, when you're multiplying numbers with the same base, you add the exponents. However, these ones don't have common denominators, so as they are right now, we can't add them. So we got to change the denominators to being the same. So we have x, and the common denominator here is going to be 10. So x to the, multiply top and bottom by 5. So x to the 15/10, that's the same thing as to the 3/2, times x to the, multiply top and bottom by 2. So x to the 4/10 gives us x to the 19/10. Now if we were writing that as a radical, that would be x to the 19th with an index of 10. So the 10th root of x to the 19th. And we have more than 10 x's in here, so that would actually turn out to x. We just took 10 of the x's out. X times the 10th root of x to the 9th. these are equivalent with each other, and this one is a more simplified form. So keep that in mind. Jot that down in your notes. There's not a ton of room here, so I'm going to erase it right now, but keep that, or actually we can do the next part of the notes just off here to the side. Let's find some room. Is there actually any room? Sure, we can copy it. So give me just a second as we get this problem for you. Copy, paste. All right, so we have the fourth root of x, that's x to the 1/4 power, times x to the 1/3 power, all being divided by x to the 1/2 power. All right, so again, we need to get a common denominator here, and that is going to be 12. So this is really x to the 3/12 times x to the 4/12 divided by x to the 6/12. And multiply on the top, so that gives us x to the 7/12. So we're adding, when you have the same base, you add your exponents. So x to the 7/12 divided by x to the 6/12, which reduces down to x to the 1/12. All right, and we'll continue on the next few problems on the next video. Hope this helps.